In the faraway kingdom of Lunaria, a legend was woven into the very fabric of the stars. It was said that every royal daughter born to the throne would arrive with a star crown, a celestial diadem of jewels that glittered with the light of constellations. This crown wasn't just an ornament, it was the heart of the kingdom, granting the heir the power to illuminate the darkest nights and fill the hearts of her people with hope and warmth. The crown was a promise, a symbol of Lunaria's unending light. But legends, as we know, are sometimes broken. When Princess Erin was born, a hush fell over the kingdom. The royal chambers were not filled with the gentle glow of a newborn's crown, but with an unnerving shadow. Erin, the long-awaited heir, was born without a single star. She was the Starless Princess, and as if in mourning, the skies above Lunaria began to dim. The once brilliant constellations faded, and a perpetual twilight descended upon the land. With the darkness came a chill, not just in the air, but in the souls of the people. Hope, once as abundant as starlight, began to dwindle. Whispers echoed through the stone halls of the castle and the cobbled streets of the city. Was this a curse? An ill omen? Erin grew up under the shadow, feeling the weight of a crown she never had. She saw the disappointment in the eyes of the court and felt the fear that gripped her people. While others might have retreated into shame or despair, something else sparked within Erin, a quiet, stubborn defiance. She refused to be defined by what she lacked. If the stars would not come to her, she would go to them. Late one night, cloaked in simple traveler's garb, she slipped away from the castle, leaving behind the heavy silence and the pitying glances. Her destination was a place of myth and fear, a place no royal had dared to venture for centuries, the lair of the Night Witch. Her secret journey began at the edge of the Forbidden Forest, a place where the trees grew so thick they blotted out what little light remained in the sky. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and ancient secrets. It was here, in the oppressive dark, that Erin met her first companion. A great owl with feathers of spun silver swooped down, its eyes like twin moons. It didn't speak in words, but in a shared understanding that flowed between them. The owl, whose name she came to know as Nimbus, showed her how to navigate by the subtle shifts in the air and the texture of the moss on the trees. He taught her to listen not with her ears, but with her entire being. As they emerged from the forest, they came to the Sea of Echoes. The water was as black and still as polished obsidian, and with every ripple, it whispered back the doubts and fears of those who tried to cross. "You are not worthy," the water seemed to murmur. "You are starless, a failure." Erin felt her resolve tremble. But then, a flicker of movement on the shore caught her eye. It was a small fox, its fur the color of twilight, but its tail held a captured, shimmering shard of moonlight. The fox, whom she called Lyra, didn't offer words of comfort. Instead, it playfully nudged a small, flat stone toward her. Following the fox's lead, Erin skipped the stone across the water. As it danced over the surface, the dark echoes were replaced by a new sound, a soft, melodic chime. Lyra showed her that the sea didn't just reflect fear, it reflected whatever was thrown at it. By casting out a small act of courage, she could change its song. Together, the three companions crossed the Sea of Echoes, their journey now accompanied by a gentle, hopeful melody. It was during this crossing that Nimbus and Lyra helped Erin understand a profound truth about herself. They made her see that she wasn't empty. She was, instead, absorbent. Unlike the princesses before her, whose crowns projected light, Erin's very essence could draw light in. When Lyra's tail brushed against her hand, its moonlight shard glowed twice as brightly. When Nimbus perched on her shoulder, his silver feathers seemed to hum with an inner radiance. She was not a void, she was an amplifier. Her perceived weakness, the lack that had shamed her kingdom, was in fact a power no other princess had ever possessed. She could gather the light of others and make it stronger, more brilliant. The witch was an ancient being, draped in robes the color of a moonless midnight, her eyes holding the cold fire of distant, dying stars. She had been waiting. She knew why Aaron had come. "You seek the star crown," the witch's voice rasped like stones grinding together. "It can be yours. I will craft it for you, the most brilliant crown Lunaria has ever seen." The offer hung in the air, tempting and treacherous. Erin's heart pounded. This was it, the culmination of her quest. But there was a condition. To forge the crown, the witch continued, a cruel smile playing on her lips, "I require a great deal of light. You must use your unique gift. Reach out and pull all the remaining light from your kingdom, the last embers of hope in your people's hearts, the final glow of the twilight. Give it all to me, and I will give you the crown you were denied. Your people will be plunged into absolute darkness, but you, my dear, will finally have your light." Aaron looked at the witch, and in that moment, she understood everything. The fading stars, the growing despair, it had all been the witch's doing, feeding her power by draining Lunaria's light. The choice was laid bare before her, her own glory at the cost of her people's souls. She remembered the faces in the city, huddled and fearful. She thought of Nimbus and Lyra, who had taught her that true strength was about connection, not possession. She looked the Night Witch in the eye, her voice clear and steady. No, that single word hung in the air, filled with a power the witch had not anticipated. "I will not take from my people," Aaron declared. "A crown is meaningless if there is no one left to share its light." The Night Witch recoiled, enraged. "Foolish girl, then you will have nothing." She unleashed a torrent of shadow, a wave of pure darkness meant to consume Aaron completely. But Aaron stood her ground. She didn't flinch. Instead, she opened herself up, not to her kingdom, but to the source of the darkness itself. She used her gift, her unique ability to absorb and amplify. She reached out and pulled on the dark energy thrumming from the witch. The witch's power was made of stolen light, twisted and corrupted. As Aaron drew it into herself, she didn't hoard it or let it poison her, she purified it. She remembered the courage of a small fox, the wisdom of a silver owl, and the quiet hope that had burned within her all along. With a great cry, she released all the energy she had gathered not as a weapon, but as a gift. She sent it soaring into the heavens. The dark power, cleansed and renewed, burst across the sky, transforming back into what it once was, stars. Millions of them, billions. They exploded across the celestial canvas in a riot of color and light. The darkness was shattered. The Night Witch shrieked as her stolen power was ripped away, her form dissolving into nothing more than a fading shadow. As dawn approached, Aaron, Nimbus, and Lyra stood on the mountain peak, watching the spectacle. Back in Lunaria, the people awoke not to the pale light of morning, but to a breathtaking sight. The sky was ablaze with the most glorious, star-filled night they had ever witnessed. It was more beautiful than any legend had ever described. And there, directly above the castle, millions of stars had arranged themselves into the unmistakable outline of a magnificent crown, a crown for the entire kingdom to share. Aaron returned not with a jewel on her head, but with a galaxy in her wake. She was still the Starless Princess, but she stood tall, her spirit luminous. She had learned that a true leader doesn't wear the light for themselves. They find a way to make everyone shine. And in the hearts of her people, she was no longer the girl who lacked a crown. She was Erin, their queen of light. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time.